Well, if they don't kill us, my mother will. Me, at least.
Tough being the general's daughter?
You have no idea.
Well, I never thought this day would come. I definitely never thought the day would come where I would take writing advice from a fighting game. I mean, I'm not throwing shade at fighting games, but normally the large, overcomplicated narrative isn't what we all go there for. We go there to fight. And it's even stranger that the game in question is Mortal Kombat, the game that features cyborg ninjas, demons with swords for arms, Bruce Lee, and Van Damme. But despite our strange source material this time, I genuinely do mean this when I say MK10 and MK11 actually have a very compelling lesson in writing, and specifically in writing characters that are the children of parents the audience is already familiar with. It is something that, in my opinion, most series fail at in trying to distance and create a character that is uniquely their own, while also still understanding how the very basis of parents implies a strong sense of impression on their respective children. You see, this task isn't just as simple as writing children characters, it's specifically having them be the children of pre-existing characters. And children characters fall into enough tropes as it is, let alone the tropes associated with growing families in series. But I'm sure you're familiar with most of them as they're more common than not. Tropes that are most associated with unhealthy ideas about lineage, some weird association with hair color, annoying tendencies, and just an all-around lack of identity on behalf of the children. Which is sad, because the concept of children being this aftermath of the characters you enjoyed is a pretty cool concept, and a lot of media surrounding teenagers will have episodes where they play the parents, or episodes where they team up. It's not hard to grasp your mind around the concept because the bond between children and parents is very normalized and recognizable. There doesn't have to be too much time spent on building a sense of stakes in children or parents, which is why we kill them so often.
Your face looks like your mother's.
Thanks. Yours looks like a butt.
And you have your father's mouth.
But anyway, this brings me to talk about Mortal Kombat and the character of Cassie Cage. In a lot of ways, the new chosen one of the series, and while that inherently means that she's going to get a lot more screen time and attention than the other children, I really do believe that the story didn't cut any corners in her design. From her outward appearance to her personality, she exhibits both traits of her parents that have been lifelong icons.
Well, this is awkward. Fighting your mother? Well, beating my mother.
Her parents, Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage, both debuted in 1992 with the very first Mortal Kombat, and their reputation within the series has only snowballed. From Johnny's joking sense of one-liners to Sonya's strong and no-nonsense attitude, both of these characters have persisted to being some of the most recognizable characters in all of gaming. And naturally, as the games have grown older and so have their characters, these two opposites have attracted together to make Cassie. There's a lot to unpack here, but let's start with her appearance. I'll use the MK10 version because I think that's a slightly better example, but just starting with her appearance, Cassie is pretty femme with her long blonde hair and army-style getup, reflecting Sonya's long training hours and the numerous gadgets she has on her character. However, despite the army attire she wears, Cassie is still looking pretty stylish. From her haircut to the glasses to the sleek and shine of her outfit, Cassie is not missing any of Johnny's style with her outfit. Not to mention the little bit of chewing gum, showing that despite her practicality, she's pretty laid back.
What's up? Beverly Hills High? Class of 2010, valedictorian. Yeah, me too.
Of course, I know this sounds obvious. Designing a character as the culmination of two means borrowing designs from both. But seriously, I don't see many stories doing that. Maybe it's just an anime thing, but it's always something pretty basic, where the kid will look exactly like one of the parents, but just with the other parent's hair color. That's not informed, that's just lazy design. Or they'll just flat out look exactly like one of their respective parents. I get that's how you keep things similar while making it different, but that's not interesting. Cassie actually looks like the best parts of both her parents, not just because she's copying them, but because she's channeling their essence. She's not copying Johnny's sense of style because his Van Damme style was relevant when he was created. Instead, she's more reflective of modern style with that sleek undercut. And Sonya's military outfit is still embedded in Cassie, but her outfit is more sleek and reflective of more modern spy and military outfits. Albeit, much to the failing of her mother's design too, they're uncomfortably sexualized. Like, I get it, they're hot. I don't need skin-tight jiggle physics to get there. But while design is important, it would mean very little if Cassie's characterization also didn't match, and thankfully it does. Now, Mortal Kombat characters have always been pretty simple, so naturally that makes her an easy mixture. But Cassie, I still don't know how they did it. Maybe it's just her respective voice actors really bringing it to their performances, but each of her interactions feels not only informed by one of them, but also by both. She's not always joking like Johnny, and she's not always serious like Sonya. she somehow manages to have this dry humor that feels like a natural mesh between the two.
Your agent thinks I should be a big star.
Stay away from those Hollywood sleazebags.
Present company included?
And from a more meta standpoint, a large part of Cassie's character arc in both games is dealing with the larger expectations placed upon her by her parents, and nod to the fact that she is coming not only from a legacy in universe, but in our universe too, which her dealing with those insecurities not only makes her more human, like any vulnerability does, but also reflects the fact that her parents are two people who have very little insecurities.
I've trained all my life. Can fight my way out of nearly anything. But I still feel like a second-rate cage.
What's this all about, Dad?
Your mom bet me you could whip my ass.
This is why I'm in therapy.
Sonya is so competent and capable that she almost doesn't have time for vulnerability, and Johnny is so confident and arrogant that he's blind to them. But living up to both of them and growing up with them shows how the writers actually thought about how these personalities would reflect onto their kid. In a very nuanced way, they push her in a direction completely contrary to them, thus making her a unique character while still being informed by the characterization of her parents.
You son of a bitch! Holy shit, it does run in the family.
It's mind-blowing how well thought out Cassie is, and I honestly don't even know if this is just a lightning in a bottle moment that happened on accident. This is Mortal Kombat. Series have created lines like this.
Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole.
But it's good. Cassie is great because I can't help but feel like the media trips up on trying to define children's personalities a lot. Just like their appearance, they're normally just like their parent, or they just flat out don't have one.
Your father was captain of a starship for 12 minutes. He saved 800 lives, including yours. I dare you to do better.
You know how in your favorite TV shows there's always someone that gets stuck with a baby or like a very small kid, and that kid has like no personality other than to annoy people and test the patience of said character? It's not good, and I don't like it because it ultimately boils the parent and child relationship as characterization for only the parent and robs agency of said child. Like, it's a bad approach and doesn't even yield good stories either. I mean, that's why people say they don't like kids, and as someone who stands children, I don't like it. But also as a weird attempt to fix that, a lot of narratives have the main child as an orphan, which doesn't always work either. I mean, stories actually about the foster system and living as an orphan are compelling, but most stories aren't doing that. Not all superheroes are Shazam tier orphan stories. It's mostly just to rid that extra work of characterization on the parents' behalf, which is unfortunate. But I'm getting off topic, because while weird, Cassie Cage just totally demonstrates how to perfectly write and create a dynamic of a good character, but also one that has natural relationships to the other characters in the story. The basis of parental relationships are inherently engaging because it's instantly relatable for lots of people. But like any trope, stories need to expand on said trope and fully externalize how this relationship has impacted each of the characters. It needs to stop being a family relationship and become Cassie's relation to her parents.
But there are no family favors here. By Special Forces tradition, you still have to pass one last test.
I need to kick the CO's ass, ma'am. Your ass, ma'am.
Which, I cannot stress how weird it is, but Cassie Cage is like a gold standard for this. She in all aspects of her design captures the essence of her parents, and paying respect to a game series as a whole and its characters with 27 years of history is no easy task. But she totally lands it, and as do the other children characters, which I think are strong in very similar ways, and I don't mean to downplay that by only talking about Cassie. She's just the only one who's the culmination of two characters, and I honestly hope to see her in more games. Because just like its characters, Mortal Kombat as a whole is getting older, and there's nothing wrong with them allowing their narrative to grow and reflect the world it currently exists in. And if they continue to write their characters in the same vein as Cassie, well, I think there's going to be nothing to worry about with our favorite spine-ripping series.
You got caged.
But for now, that's all I got. Thank you for watching this and sharing this with your friends, and I'll see you next time.